Hey, what's going on, everyone? Crom. Another week without a video. I'm clearly slacking. I promise. I know I keep on saying I promise, but I promise to get more content flowing more regularly. I don't know why. I've just been in a slump, recently. I just thought, I need to get my butt back in gear, and I'm pretty good at doing that. Just motivating myself. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I just thought I'd try to turn this into a bigger conversation in terms of what I think when I hear certain things like this. But a lot of people like to defend developers. It's understandable, of course. We all love our favorite developers and like to see many games being created and eventually reaching the store shelves. And of course, we know a wealth of developers work their asses off. But at the same time, people like myself and others have been blasted in the past when we grumble about the direction a game has gone in, regardless of how much perceived love and passion has been applied to the title, and that's for both smaller and bigger titles and developers. A while back, I done some videos on my feelings towards the announcements of games like Shenmue 3 and most recently the announcement of Streets of Rage 4. And sticking with Streets of Rage 4 for the bulk of this conversation, I feel we've recently just seen some more gameplay footage of this title, which is being developed by a group of fans, I believe, where Sega has given them the Streets of Rage license in order to create a new game. Which for these guys, similar to what probably happened to Sonic Mania, this must be a dream come true, and good for them. I say, can you imagine that being given, the license of a game that you grew up on? They must be thrilled and absolutely loving it. But first off, and to get this started, Streets of Rage is a special series to me, and even though I never owned the third game, more due to the time it was released, the age I was, and the sheer impossibility of me asking my parents to buy me every single game I wanted, I later went back and played it, but of course Streets of Rage 1 and 2 were some of my most played games of that era, especially on the Mega Drive. And I even rebought the 3D versions of Streets of Rage 1 and 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, which are awesome, by the way. And if you still play your 3DS and love old school beat 'em ups, then I highly recommend them. Streets of Rage was the pinnacle of Mega Drive greatness to me, and at the time the pinnacle of Sega greatness. These games being the AAA games of their time. So the name Streets of Rage, falls into a certain bracket of quality and gaming greatness for me. So, the direction that Streets of Rage 4 has been brought back in is something I'm personally, not overly thrilled about or overly hyped about. This has nothing to do with knocking the developers' work, their efforts and passion towards a project. I'm sure every member on that team is thrilled to be working on Streets of Rage 4, and given their brief or their own personal desires, they are creating the game that they want. And with this, it should reach a level, it should reach the quality that they are striving for. That's absolutely fine. Who would hate on that? No one in their right minds, if you ask me. My problem falls into the realms of this isn't a simple Streets of Rage remake. This people, is Streets of Rage 4. The fact that it has a number, means that it is a serious follow-up to what the previous games achieved over 25 years ago. Another example was Sega naming, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 as they did. Remember that game? Yeah, exactly. You don't. If it wasn't called Sonic the Hedgehog 4, and it's a funny state of mind, right? But if that game didn't have the number 4 against it, then it wouldn't, for me, be as big an issue. But the problem was that it did. And coming 15 years after the Mega Drive classic that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, that number 4 had a lot of weight on its shoulders, as it should. But as we know, it didn't live up to the task, and has been promptly forgotten for many reasons. But going back to Streets of Rage 4, 25 years, people. 25 years of gaming evolution. 25 years of waiting for a worthy successor to a series that made the 16-bit era as glorious as it was. And, what we get, in my opinion, is not an evolution, but arguably more of the same with a different art style, that will be, up to the individual if they like it or not. I personally wanted and expected Streets of Rage to be given the same level of evolution, or at least, attempts at evolution that other big named old school games like Zelda, Mario, Street Fighter, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Final Fantasy, Castlevania, even Sonic the frickin' Hedgehog, Echo the Dolphin, F-Zero, all these games have, essentially received, or at least have been, attempted at, being evolved over their lifetimes and over the generations that the industry has changed. So for me, this simply falls down to some names deserving more than they get, sometimes, especially if it's a mainline entry, which Streets of Rage 4 is, because it's got that number 4, after it. It's the same reason why we complain about, many other, gaming franchises being, treated like ass. Use Sonic, again, as another example here. Sega could be sitting in that office, truly believing that they are creating a great Sonic game. All that passion could be there, to deliver, to want to deliver a great Sonic game. But what finally comes out is not a great Sonic game, and not what you'd expect from one of the greatest, from one of the biggest and most well-known characters in gaming, who at one point, popularity-wise, stood almost toe-to-toe with Super Bloody Mario. Some series just deserve more. That's what I'm saying. Some series just deserve more, and after 25 years, this new Streets of Rage could end up being a great 2D beat 'em up. That reminds you of the past. From a developer who have pumped their heart and soul into it. But currently, where I'm sitting and what I'm seeing, it is exactly that. A once AAA series that has seemingly not moved with the times and because of that, has become a regular title in Sega's back catalogue of greatness. It's essentially become a Puyo Puyo Tetris or a Puyo Puyo Pop, fever of the Sega world. Fun games, of course, but no longer playing with the big boys. When in my mind, as I keep on saying, Streets of Rage deserves to be one of the big boys. I do wonder why they never gave this series to Platinum Games, considering their close relationship with the series, or as one of my friends pointed out, why aren't the Yakuza team doing a Streets of Rage game? It doesn't need to have a full-on epic story, like the Yakuza series, but in terms of a modern 3D, brawler out in a city, they seem well equipped to take on and truly push Streets of Rage into the modern era and keep it at that AAA level that I believe that series deserves and that series once was. People also use the excuse of they should port the original game to get people reacquainted with the series as it's been away for so long, and they use that excuse with many dormant titles. I've always been like hell no, just make a new bloody game, and as long as it's good, people will see the name and pay attention. Ask yourself, honestly, would you have preferred remakes of old games like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, or would you have preferred brand new adventures, brought back to the limelight for those once cherished IPs? I know what I prefer. I don't hate the developers of this new Streets of Rage. I really don't. There's no reason for me to. I'm personally just not thrilled with the choice of direction, and that's absolutely fine to say. Don't be scared of saying stuff like that. Sometimes people need to stop being so content with what's offered to them. Acting like because this series has been away for 25 years, any new entry is better than nothing. I suppose there's a little truth in that, of course, but still, there is no harm in keeping standards and expectations set for certain series, and there is no shame in we as gamers and consumers wanting more from certain series, or just wanting more from gaming overall when it comes to certain aspects, and we know, that we know are possible, from some companies. I can look at myself, with recent smaller companies like Image and Form and Supergiant Games. I absolutely love these guys, and all their games. I think they are fantastic, but that doesn't mean, I had to be happy with the direction they decided to go in with the likes of Hades from Supergiant Games and SteamWorld Quest, from Image and Form. I'm sure they're still going to be great games, and as these studios grow and get better, I think it's natural to expect more from them. And I'm sure, they will get more in time. It's that's probably a bad comparison, really, but or in the same AAA vein as I consider it Streets of Rage, and like in one of my recent videos, I look at games like Pokemon Sword and Shield and Kirby's Star Allies. These are old franchises, been there for most of gamers' lives. The games might be all fine and dandy for the most part, and the developers had a blast making them, and pumped their heart and soul into it. But that doesn't mean that I think that's all, that's what these games deserve, or that was the right direction for them. And we shouldn't be slammed, for saying so. But at the same time, we know that there are a number of developers who, truly don't give a shit. So it's fine to chew them out as well, no matter what the product may be. So to finish up, even for some developers, perhaps nostalgia can get in the way of what should be true progress. All the passion and love in the world can be applied, but that doesn't mean you'll hit the nail on the head. And when you don't, it's absolutely fine for the viewer to grumble. Even if Theodore Bennett, even if Theodore Bennett in quality control, worked overtime and neglected his family for 3 years to get this game done, all I can say is, thanks for the hard work, Bennett. I can feel the passion in this game, but unfortunately, its direction, disagrees with me. Sorry, but maybe next time. And then Bennett probably looks at me, grabs his gun and says, "I'm not gonna shoot you between the eyes. I'm gonna shoot you between the balls." But anyway, I'm I'm done here. I just what are your thoughts on this? I mean, like I said, people pump their hearts and souls into everything. It's like the X Factor. People go up the stage and truly believe, that they are great singers and can change the world. But all that passion, it just doesn't necessarily mean that the final product is is what people are looking for. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna get another video out, in the next day or two straight after this, and I'm gonna start stepping up my game, people. I really will. So let me know your thoughts. Once again, thanks for listening. I'll reply to everyone, and as always, take care all. Peace.